We're doing more Patreon team fixing today. We're looking at a team submitted by Care. This is a Froslass Snow team, Basculegion, Hisui Arcanine, Talonflame Good. I really like how they set this up. Like I was talking about earlier, this is all through our Patreon. If you guys are at all interested, think about checking it out. Link in the description of whatever video this is going to be on. Even the lowest tier, the $2 tier, gets access to all this stuff. If you guys have teams you want me to fix and go over, this is the best place to do it to get, actual help learning how to build teams and an actual fixed team back. So if we scroll down a little bit, we're working on some of these here. We're working on Siren Care's team right here. So it says they've been working on a few crazy teams, but I really like this one. It's a partial snow team, but has the option to take advantage of rain or sun with Arcanine and Basculegion. I'm using an Arcanine I had before, so the spread for Terra could be different. I'm open to that. You can lead with Froslass and a speedy teammate to do damage and drop opponent's speed with Icy Wind, or you can trade Tailwinds using Talonflame. So far, they're on point. I really like how they're deliberate with what they want their leads to do. Very smart, very, to the point. You need to be actually having a game plan before you can, come up with like how to beat what other people are doing. If you're the one setting the pace, you're going to be in for a good time. Froslass has some good offense with Blizzard when switching in Ninetales. I know that you prefer Protect on Sash Mons, so I'm considering it if I should remove Haze for it. After one Icy Wind, I'm usually able to outspeed and take out opponents with Destiny Bond, which has been really nice. The only reason Ninetales doesn't have spread moves is to work around Wide Guard, but I've considered adding Feint to Talonflame instead of Upper Hand. I honestly only used it once. It would be nice to have a Mon with staying power on the board. Anyways, I'd appreciate any help. Thanks for all you do. There's the Pokepaste and the rental code. So we take a look at the Pokepaste real quick. I think this team's doing a lot of stuff right. The Froslass is a 252 set. You don't really need Protect here, but it is nice to have Protect over on Destiny Bond Mons. So you can actually leave in that Protect after your Destiny Bond, and the next turn they think you're going to Destiny Bond, and you just attack them, get that speed control up. It's nice. I do think the Haze, though, is very good for the Dozo matchup. Otherwise, this team has like no matchup unless you wanted to put like Wisp on Talonflame. Basculegion can be optimized here. 252 is good. I really like that you decided to go with Phantom Force here as this last move. Phantom Force is one of my favorite options on Scarf Basculegion, so very cool. Arcanine can be a little bit optimized. I think it's very good, but this EV spread is nice. It could be changed just a little bit. Talonflame's good. I think I would keep the upper hand. Otherwise, you have a bit of a hard time dealing with Rillaboom for covering up for your Basculegion, so I'd probably leave the upper hand there. Ninetales is good, like you talked about. Having different options to deal with Wide Guard is very solid. So we're going to tweak the Ninetales EVs just a little bit, but it's good. And last but not least, Glimora, very good. I like the Ground, Terra, Earth power. I was actually thinking about making this an Energy Ball because you have some weaknesses to Water Mons, but you got to think like what Water Mons are actually in the meta that you need to Energy Ball. A lot of the Water Mons people are using are like Pelipper, and that's a Water Flying, which you could just hit that with the Meteor Beam or the Sludge Bomb. So actually, you're almost perfect with this team, which is why I'm so happy you submitted it. What we're going to be doing here is cleaning up these EVs. We're going to be playing some games with this rental code. And we're also going to be going in and fleshing out your different lead options so you know what you want to lead with in what situations. A lot of people always ask me, how do you know what you need to lead with? That's the biggest question I get asked every single day in my YouTube videos. Like, how do you know how to win the team preview? And, we've talked about this before. The best way to win the team preview is understanding what your best leads are so you can bait people into over-respecting them and then punish them with very specific matchup specific leads from like our A and B tiers. So I think it's actually really important. And then from there, the more that you play, the more experience you get, you'll be able to understand what your opponent's S tier leads are. So you actually know what cores they have to use to beat your team so you can punish them with your respective A and B tier leads. It's just like, it's just like matching, a puzzle matching game. It's pretty easy, but we're going to work on this and we'll flesh this out. And last but not least, we're also going to be using a defensive type chart because I actually think it's pretty important to a defensive type chart this team, as we have some weaknesses that you really need to be aware of when you're getting into your lead options. You're going to realize like, wow, I really do have like a big weakness to water. Wow, I really do have like a little bit more weakness to ground than I would initially realize. So that might make a ground Terramon or a ground Mon a little bit more attractive to our opponents so we can bring the right stuff to check them in the future. Siren says they're going to a meeting, but I'll check the VOD later. Really looking forward to your insight. Thank you so much for submitting the team. And like I said, this team's almost perfect. We're just going to be slightly optimizing some of the choices and then more than anything, giving you a much broader insight into how the team can be played and being able to capitalize on the pressure that this team actually sets. So it's a very cool team, and let's go play some games. Here we go. What is this? Umbreon Toxapex. Okay. Umbreon Toxapex Gliscor. There's no reason to go Glimora here just because like they can take away our poison with like the Toxapex pivot. So I think we can probably just leave Ninetales here. I don't dislike Ninetales here, but being able to Encore Lock something is very nice. I don't think we even need to stop Trick Room. Like I'm kind of looking at this. Don't think we need to stop Trick Room. Looking at what we have over here. Yeah, if I just like lead with these two, this should just get me what I want. And if you lead TR there, I really wish this Basculegion had flip turn, because I would lead Basculegion. You can definitely still submit teams. Yeah, let's go with both those into the Glim in the mid game. I'd like to bring Froslass though. It'd be nice to be able to bring the Froslass. Froslass is better than Basculegion here. But so I'll bring it. I mean, it's Basculegion's better, but I'm still gonna bring Froslass. All right, here we go. Let's see how this one works. Here we go. I mean, I don't think Great Ball always runs 2v2. Like, their season just started. It's the first day, right? So everyone's in Great Ball. And we're not running 2v2 sets on everything, so Snow Warning's up. You can get your Trick Room up. I just don't think we auto-lose if you get it up. We're actually going to cycle this Arcanine out to be able to intimidate its pressure. Okay. Pressure's really good. Remember, you got to PP max those moves. Like, I'm not afraid of their Mons. I'll probably just throw a Rock Slide. I think just throwing a Rock Slide and just throwing a Moonblast into the Grim is good, because you can only stop one of my screens if you're even going to try and do it. Reflex up, so you're going to be taking this big Moonblast. I'd like to be able to KO your Grim this turn. That'd be very, very nice. And I don't even think I need to, per se, like, oh, we got the crit value. We don't need to flinch this Dusknoir. It's not, like, required. Just getting that Grim off the board and saying you only get one screen is very, very good. Let's see it. There's a Trick Room. Cool. So, like, I don't know how afraid I am of, like, a Gliscor, right? Like, I don't think I should be. Yo, you got your 120 points for the GC. Now I'm at 297. Yo. Good luck. Hope and pray I can register for EUIC. I really hope you get in, my friend. I really, really hope that you get in. That would be great. That's so sick. Let me think. I think I might just throw an Encore into the Toxapex, because, like, what are you going to do this turn? So if I throw, like, an Encore into the... Actually, I can just double protect and then throw the Encore. And it's not that you're going to be Encoring, you know, something... Like, you couldn't Encore the Dusknoir's Trick Room back, but if the Toxapex wants to go for, like, a bad move, we can just throw the Encore into it. So if you want to Toxic one thing or Infest one thing, then you can. I want to scout and see if they have Infest, because then I can pivot into a Ghost. You're never going to hit that Dusknoir. This Dusknoir is playing like All My Friends Are Dead Syndrome. But happy to hear you got your points. Infestation. Yo, it's the THATSAplusONE team. Prim couldn't break the Pecs. No, my team can. We have Freeze Dry. Yo, thank you. Grumpig. Grumpig's good. Grumpig's a good Pokemon. Alright, so you have Infestation. Infestation is a special attack. I could pivot it in on this Froslass and still be able to pivot out. But let's see. I kind of want to just pivot in my Glim on the Arcanine side. Oh, I'll just Freeze Dry. Cool. So I think I'm alright. And then we're just going to wait out the Trick Room and then bring on Froslass and be fine. One cool thing we can also do is, like, throw up a Destiny Bond on the turn they reset TR. And that's going to be active until, like, the next turn. So it's going to give us, like, a full, like, 2 turns of Destiny Bond action if we've already cocked our Sash. Infestation, this slot's nice. It's a good play. I like how they split that up right there. So, good stuff. I think that's smart. So Freeze Dry is going to do a lot. Remember, they have a Reflect up, not a Light Screen. So it's very, very nice. Any Freezers, pleasers? No. Okay, so we've stuck big damage here. I can pivot in my Arc. I don't think I need to. I'm gonna go for Meteor Beam. Go for another Freeze Dry. I think I will go for a Freeze Dry here. And I'm not gonna blow my Meteor Beam yet, because I think they're gonna Terra away. Submitted a Stall team. Yo! Stall's fun. Special defensive Toxapex. Most are. Most of them are, especially when you pair it with, like, a Will-O-Wisp Mon over there. So we're just chilling here. Not really that afraid of, like, a Gliscor. They're actually making a good play here and pivoting out this Dusclops because it's not helping them at all. Umbreon, cool. So I should be fine here. I think I should be okay. Infestation. So both my Mons are infested now. Next turn, they're going to be going for... If they live, right? I don't know if they live because they're probably some sort of binding band. Awesome. So all that infest, not worth it. You got to weave in those protects. You got to have those citrus berries on those Toxapexes, in my opinion, in this format. You say you've never been able to get into Great Ball / Master Ball tiers. I know part of it is I use homebrew teams, but I don't really like using something just because everyone else is. Any advice? I think that you can get to Master Ball with literally any team, and you don't even really have to be that good, because the ladder is not an indication of your skill. The ladder is more of an indication of time spent on the ladder. You probably need to ladder more, and it would be nice if you laddered with something that doesn't have to be meta, but is built correctly, has the right, speed tiers, has the right amount of speed control. So getting a team fixed might really help you get that little step over. So this is the last two. There's no more pivoting for them. I'm allowed to pivot now. So I will. I'm going to pivot in my Arcanine, and I'm going to fire off a Protectamundo, because I don't need to care. Got to Master Ball with Grumpy. Yeah, you can do it with anything, I wouldn't say this isn't that good of a stall team. Why gotta be so negative, man? Why gotta be so negative? I think it's cool that they're using this sort of stuff. I don't think you gotta, not everyone is trying to get maximum rank 1, do everything. It's a lot easier to give a compliment than it is to put someone down and be like, dude, Umbreon looks sick. It's very passive. Yeah, it is very passive, which is why we're able to abuse it. We're able to pivot in and out and do a bunch of stuff like that. So now the snow is gone. I'm going to want to reapply that in a minute. Dimensions return normal. I can double into this Dusclops slot if I need to, but I don't think I need to. I'm going to double into the Umbreon slot. Now, stall teams usually do need one option for a little bit of aggression, if they can. They need one thing to keep you honest. So I could go for Rock Slide here, but I don't think I need to. Be nice to get a burn here, not gonna lie. Never lucky. Only thing I can say is that everyone uses, certain teams because they work. Being a rebel stunts your growth as a player, which I would agree. You don't get more points for winning with something that's bad. Using meta teams also help you understand how they work and how you can counter them with off-meta stuff. What I like to do is... Oh, you can't charm me, I'm Clear Amulet. See that Clear Amulet value. What I really like to do is test the busted teams, right? You test with busted teams. And then when it comes time to actually perform, since you test with busted teams, you know what you need to do to beat them. And so that's where if you have any sauce or anti-meta tech, that's where you can bust that out. Think about this. Again, we're super ignoring that Dusclops. It has Wisp, Pain Split, Trick Room. It could have Nightshade, I don't care. Because we also are fine. I think that I could pivot. No, I think I'm just going to double into this guy again. Umbreon can go Moonlight, but they can't Snarl Moonlight. You see, we got him in a pin where they can't recover and have enough pressure with the Dusclops, so played that really well. Dusknoir and Hisui Arcanine. Love Dusknoir. I think its sprite looks amazing in this game. So this guy's a little bit of redirection. He has Fake Out. Speed control looks like Trick Room, maybe Icy Wind from Melodic. Arcanine has Intimidate support. I think you could probably lead Arcanine here, even if they go Melodic. That's probably fine. I wouldn't actually think that, Glimora is probably a solid lead here. Let me think about Glimora. I think I'm going to open up with Glimora Froslass. And the idea here would be... No, I don't know if Glimora has enough speed to make that work. Does. So I can go Glimora Icy Wind into the Arcanine and just straight out into a Meteor Beam into that slot. If they would like to Trick Room me, I don't care if they Trick Room. Bring my Protect Mons. I think having my Intimidate Mon might be good. It's really either Basculegion or Arcanine in this situation. I'll bring the Arcanine. Arcanine Mirror seems fine. We have Ghost Terra Arcanine too, so we can actually avoid a lot of what Rillaboom would throw at us. Same thing goes for Melodic. I don't care if we give you a proc. I don't think Melodic can break an Arcanine that's this bulky. We have a lot of bulk in this Arcanine. Let's go. So let's see how they want to use this one. Clefable Dusknoir. It's a solid lead. Solid lead. See, the thing is, though, like, this Sling doesn't put a lot of pressure on us. Yeah, if you have Dynamic Speed Control, I always say use Specs. If you have, like, a Prankster Tailwind setter, we're just going to double into this. The correct play for them would just be to protect the Clefable and TR, but it's a little bit risky because it opens your Dusknoir up to a double. It opens your Dusknoir up to Taunt, which is, like, the big thing there that you would not want to deal with. I don't need to pivot in my Arcanine yet. Icy Wind doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind, just in case they... No, I'm not weak. I'll click in Blizzard. We're Blizzarding, boys. I don't care if I miss. You think I care if I miss Blizzard? No, Blizzard. Let's go. Froslass busted. Uh-oh. I'd like to hit Blizzard. Alright, cool. I wanted to hit on Clefable more than anything just to make sure that we could Sludge Bomb KO, which I think we can. Awesome. Getting one Mon down. It makes it so when most teams that are playing like hard Trick Room, you don't want to KO something because then they get up Trick Room with their teammate and then they bring out their threat. This team doesn't like really have those threats. Like, I think the best thing they're going to have is like Hisui Arcanine with like Rock Slide, and we have Ground Terror on Glimora, so we're really in a good spot. Let's see what they want to do. Let's see what they want to do. Here we go. Rigorath, okay. That is unique. So this is where you're talking about maybe having Protect on Froslass would be really nice. I think we can just pivot and probably be in a good spot. So I'm going to go with a Spiky Shield here. And I think I will pivot in my Ninetales this turn. Get the Hail active to start being able to cycle things correctly. I wonder if they don't bring Arcanine. So Ninetales is active. Let's see what they want to do here. Another thing you have to watch out for is them Trick Rooming their own Trick Room to get a fresh coat of paint on it, so I don't want to let them do that. If I can help it. Shadow Sneak's great. Was not letting them go for a big ghost attack into our slot there. Psychic into the Glim. Let's see. So Psychic into Glim. And you have Shadow Sneak, which is unique. Again, you want to ignore that Dusknoir and leave it with a little bit of All My Friends Are Dead syndrome. I think our Glim should definitely be able to eat a Psychic. I don't know if I can eat like a double up if they want to throw a Nightshade there. I'm going to double into the Frigoraph. Moonblast over Freeze Dry just because it's a little bit more damage. Poltergeist is a good move, but it can definitely miss. Oh, cool. That's not gonna KO. Yeah, Ninetales is thick. That Hail boost is busted. Hyper Voice hits. Ninetales holds because it's busted. Now we can weave in like a Protect next turn. That's a Throat Spray. So they didn't Throat Spray proc last turn. If they did, I would not have made this play. Just letting you know. So Meteor Beam's going to do big damage to this Frigoraph. Big damage. And so they have Poltergeist, Shadow Sneak, probably like Wisp Trick Room on that Dusclops, or Dusknoir, sorry. Nice. Citrus? No, so it was Throat Spray. So cool, this guy goes down. Awesome. So now they're running out of turns on Trick Room, and now they're no longer able to pivot. We always talk about this when we're building like our flowcharts at the very end. You want to take away your opponent's defensive options. You want to make them waste those protects so they can't double protect. You want to make it so you waste their Terra, which we haven't done yet, so they can't defensive Terra as a get out of jail free card. And you also want to make it so they only have 2 Mons, so they can't switch anymore. That's really, really important. Because now they're running out of turns on this Trick Room, and they also don't have 2 Trick Room setters, so they can't do that like Trick Room of Trick Room into a new Trick Room if I double protect. So we have an absolutely free double protect this turn. So Spiky Shield's going to go up. I might want to let the Ninetales go down if I'm being completely honest. No, I want to let the Ninetales live for this turn. Next turn, Ninetales goes down. Then we just bring in Arcanine. I know we're going to give him a competitive proc, but like then we just dump truck the Dusknoir with like Glimora Arcanine, and that's probably enough. I think Flare Blitz plus Ground Terror Earth Power is enough to KO the Dusknoir. And they can't hit our Glimora with... What is that move? They can't hit Glimora with Poltergeist. And we should be able to eat just a Scald, I think. Take reduced damage. Is it right to pivot? No, I don't think I want to do that. Can I eat a Scald from a Melodic? Technically, like, probably. We're full HP, but we're not at full right now. Do I try and do that? We want this to go down, so it's fine. If I can eat this Scald, I think I'm gonna do fine. I'm gonna start running my calc. Glimora. Milotic. Poltergeist. Oh, he's out there targeting the Glim with the Poltergeist! Value. Alluring Voice. Oh, he went for a Psychic move. No healing. Dude, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Value. And now we can Encore the Dusknoir into the wrong move. Oh, I can just kill it, bro. No, they went for the Poltergeist fail, bro. Works for me. Oh, and a freeze! Oh my gosh, yo, sometimes value, bro. Sometimes value. Dimension to turn normal. We just check this Dusknoir right in the mouth, right in the kisser. And we just start freeze drying. Actually, we can just Encore the Melodic because like those moves are weak. Battles canceled, wins up. So we just fought against like 2 Trick Room teams and we just didn't really let them do what they wanted to do. Mouse, Ape, Archaludon, Rain. Okay, it's a cool team. I think it's a pretty cool team. ArchRain. So Basculegion is good into the rain. I think this Basculegion should still have flip turn. Like if it's gonna be scarfed, it should definitely still have it, so you can like use it as bait for the Glim. Let's see. Thank you for the follow. I think I might lead the Basculegion. I think I do like it quite a bit. And it would be nice to lead something that puts pressure on Ape. Or makes it so if they lead Grim, they can't do 2 things at once. I think I will actually lead with Glim here. Saying you can only really hit one of these. And then I'll bring in the Froslass Ninetales in the very back to be able to close out their Archaludon. Alright. Yeah, Glim's really good. Meteor Beam shouldn't miss. Like, if Electro Shot's 100, Meteor Beam should be 100 too. You say that's a showdown team? Didn't this team just, like, win a regional, like, last weekend? Didn't somebody, like, someone did something with Sinistcha, I think. Alright, there's the Mouse Ape. Cool. If I can take out the Mouse, I think I win. I'm gonna run a calc here. Basculegion versus Mousehold. So you guys can see my calc here, that I'm just running this up real quick. So the Wave Crash doesn't get it. If I want to Water Terra double dip, oh, we're still in Entity. So run this first Mousehold. If they have like a 252, all right, I'll run that down because they need to have some speed. So if we get this guy off the board, they can't really do anything. And then there's not that much to really do versus Ape. I'm just gonna Sludge Bomb it. No, I'm not. All Earth Power, it's fine. Kind of want to double into the Mouse just in case they're sashed. But like, how often do you think this team is gonna bring Hisuian, Arc, and Basculegion? It really depends on the matchup. Like, I think if there's any weather, I wouldn't bring it. Yeah, I would not bring them into weather. Hisuian Arc is very, very passive. I want to see what they're doing here. Protect Mouse is great, by the way. I really like that for them. They're trying to blow my Meteor Beam. So it's good stuff. And I want to see what this Ape does. Goes for a free bulk up. That's how I like to play Ape too. Like, this is how I like to play it. Like, the Ape's never going to die. And then like next turn you can follow me and then bring in Speed Control. So I like what they're doing here. Free damage for me though. Spit F drops maybe? Okay, no Spit F drops. We have Haze if we need it. We outspeed with both these if we need it, by the way, as well. I want to see if they pivot out for Archaludon. That's what these teams like to do. You could protect with your Ape and pivot Archaludon, that's a cool play, but I think because they have the advantage of the Bulk Up last turn, I think they don't protect the Ape. I also don't just want to give the Archaludon these boosts. And they know I have Earth Power. Sinistcha, cool, it's a great play. They don't have Frengar right now. They have a +1 defense boost, but this is a lot of damage. A lot. And they don't have Frengar, so it's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think we get the KO this turn, but the Ape will be dealt with. I think I die, and that's completely okay. It's absolutely fine. We need to bring out Froslass next turn. And we haven't seen Pelipper yet, but we know it's somewhere. No, we might bring in Ninetales next turn. We'll see. Let's see if Froslass can do it. Can we hit a Meteor Beam? Please? Oh, let's go Meteor Beam. I think they are going to bring Pelipper here, actually. I think they're not using Arc. Nice. Nice. Because now you're stuck in a situation where... Mousehold Sinistcha is very bad. It just doesn't do anything. And Pelipper Sinistcha also doesn't really do anything. So it was a great double up for me. If they wanted to play that a little bit passively, they should have been protecting there. We're going to bring the Froslass out and save it to be able to reapply the Weather. CC Arc, no Pelipper. Perfect. You were right, they didn't bring the rain part. And that's completely fine. Like, I think we're okay into Arc. Don't want to let them Trick Room, but they can't protect, and they have, like... I think the right play might just be something as simple as, like, Icy Wind and just Earth Power. Perfect. And that's probably going to be it. Like, they're going to Terra, maybe. We've already shown Earth Power. But, like, you're not getting up... you didn't Terra. Cool. You weren't going to be getting up Trick Room that turn. And so we're also using this Icy Wind to make sure that the Arc will down slower than my Glim, because this Glim is not full speed. Big damage. That's a +1. Wow. A lot of damage. Lots of damage. Snarl. I love to see Snarl Arcs, or Snarl Arc cooldowns. It's so freaking good. You don't see it all that often, but when you do, holy moly, is it good. I think that KOs. And this is where, like, I was talking about maybe making this Froslass into a Ice Terra double dip. This is where, like, doing that would guarantee it. I think this will win, though. I think they're going to follow me. They might pivot out for Sinistcha, which would be a good play, but then they're also eating a Blizzard on that pivot, and then they only get, like, 1 KO or a Snarl, and, like, I don't really care. I could also just have Destiny Bond this turn. Like, Destiny Bond would be a good play, but I want this Blizzard. I'll get a freeze anyways, it's okay. Ninetales doesn't care like any Blizzard anyways. Glim doesn't matter that we lost it. We already lost the boost anyways because we got snarled. Here's a Terra. What Terra are you going? Oh, are you gonna go ground Terra or grass Terra to stop the Earth Power? Bruh. Oh my gosh. Oh dude, Blizzard value, boys. Blizzard value. Let's go. That's what we like to see. Look at that Blizzard, boys. Sheesh. Stamina procs are fine. DP. Can we get a Curse Body these, though? Alright, so the problem with this exact situation is that we do... Oh, actually, yeah, we don't have any... If they Rage Powder us, we're kind of sad. I'll be honest with you. Imagine if they're Electric Terra. I mean, why would they be Electric, though? Alright, let's think about this. I cannot, in good faith, let you Trick Room me. Worst case scenario, we lose one of our Mons. Cannot let you... For Stab Electro Shot, not worth on this team. Because you still keep your ground weakness, I wouldn't do that. I think they're going to pivot out that Arch for Mouse and try and Trick Room, and then they can close like 1v... They can just close one of these Mons with the Arch really low, because its speed is so weak. That's what I would do. I don't know if they have Trick Room on this Sinistcha, but I'm definitely respecting it. Rage Powder. Cool, didn't matter. With a Rage Powder, you only can go 1 for 1. Right? And I think I can do stuff here. Yeah, I don't think we get that KO. Citrus. Oof, we might not get any KOs this turn. Ah, that's hard. If I had Blizzard here, oh my gosh. Yeah, I still like Blizzard a lot. Can I get poison? There we go. Value. So we go 1 for 1 probably. Oh no. Cool. Nice. They don't have enough boosts. Cool, we didn't lose them on. That should just be game. I think. Like, let's see. So it's going to be poison there. It's technically, I don't think there's a problem with double protecting and then seeing what they use and then throwing an Encore out. I don't think that's a problem with that because they're taking out. And if you want to throw like a Dragon Pulse, like that's not... I think if you had Flash Cannon, you would have Flash Cannoned. Yeah, I'll Spiky Shield. And I'll protect here. And I'm probably just going to go Moonblast. Battles cancel, but take those wins. Take those wins all the way to the bank. So overall, I think this team does a lot of things right. The Basculegion seems suboptimal. I think it does need Flip Turn, honestly. I think it really needs Flip Turn. And I personally don't like playing Scarf Basculegion without Flip Turn. I think you might even be able to get away with like a Banded Basculegion. Maybe we can talk about that in the team fixing part. But other than that, I like a lot of what this team does right. We're going to go and fix a bunch of the EVs. We're going to fix a bunch of the stats, Terras, things like that. And then we're going to break down the flow charts. We're also going to be filling out a defensive coverage chart, which we're going to do right now. So I'm going to fill this up right now. And this is just to give you a better idea of maybe some of your weaknesses, just so you can be more prepared when you're going into like a team preview. All right, Basculegion, Arcanine. Just because like you might not have realized like how weak you are to very specific types. I think this team has a big weakness to water and ground that isn't necessarily obvious on paper. So next time you're in like the team preview, you might think if they have really good ground moves or really good water moves, they're probably going to be bringing those mons that have those moves, even if they don't stab them. And so if you know that those are going to be coming every single time, you start to recognize those patterns, you can better check it. So Glenmora. I've also noticed that a lot of people like to bring their poison types to fight this team. So you can see we have a lot of weaknesses. Anytime you go more than 2 into that red category, it's a lot of weaknesses. See, this rock's weakness. Everything's weak to rock, and we have no rock resists. So when this happens, what I like to do, right? What I like to do when you have no resistances to a specific type is utilize your Terras to actually cover up for those problems. So like someone was saying, Glim needs to be Grass Terra. I think Glim should be Ground Terra, which it actually is, which can give yourself a rocks counter, right? So we actually had one of the games where we played where we led Glim, and if they wanted to go like Rock Slide with their Hisuian Arcanine, I was ready, willing, and able to just Terastallize and Earth Power it back. And I'm sure when you actually made this team with that Ground Terra double dip, that was a huge factor, which is good team building. Other things, just be pretty aware of like what your Terras can be to cover up for this sort of stuff, and note that like you're going to be baiting in those big rock mons, baiting in those big like water attacking mons, baiting in things that have like flash cannons and stuff like that. So just be aware. And let's talk a little bit about what we could be doing. Now we do have an Icy Wind user. I think that's really important to note that we have an Icy Wind user. So we actually can function off like +1 and -1 speed calc. So this is going to be like outspeeding, you know, things like mouse holds. This is going to be outspeeding base 100s. When taking a look at our EVs, though, I think, though, that Glim can split up its EVs just a little bit more. This is why we weren't getting any KOs, is because this Glim doesn't have anything in special attack, which is fine. I don't think Glim needs anything in special attack, but you can definitely, like, cut up a little bit into, like, a 196-4-4, because 4 points in each of these respective stats is worth more than just 1 point up here. So, pretty good. Getting to have an Earth Power is nice, but you prefer defensive Terras. What I'm saying is this Ground Terra is a defensive Terra for the rest of the team, because you got to think like what would use a rock move. It's a rock slide. It's an AoE move. So if you protect with your teammate, Ground Terra, you still resist it with your Glim. You get up the toxic debris, and you can potentially even KO something back that would be using like a stabbed rock slide, like a Hisuian Arcanine. So it's actually good team building, how they submitted the team as is. But yeah, I think just splitting that up just a little bit into a 4-4 would be a little bit more optimal. I like to have some more special attacks on my Glim, but I don't think you need it. As for this Ninetales, I think you're doing a lot of things right. I really like the Covert Cloak on it. We've already talked a little bit about how like Ninetales doesn't necessarily need Aurora Veil, and I agree. I don't think it needs Aurora Veil here. The only thing I would say about Ninetales is it's actually really popular right now. You know, Paul Chua got second at Baltimore, and then one of the regionals like Dortmund or Joinville, the first 2 teams I think were Paul Chua's Ninetales team. So you actually need to go full speed, otherwise your Ninetales is just slower than them. So Ninetales is just really, really popular right now. You need to outspeed those. I'd probably take away some of the defense that you actually have here. I think also you do get more by just maxing out this HP. Yes, you get like a multiplier here, but I think you would just get more from maximizing your HP, but I still think that you're doing things fine here. Talonflame. Talonflame is another really weird one. Like Talonflame, if we plug in like a damage, you know, go into here, let's have like Talonflame. Talonflame's also really popular, so there's nothing wrong with going a full speed Talonflame, but usually I would say that you still want to go heavy speed on a Talonflame, just because you want to outspeed like Meowscaradas. So if we set these to like 50, you see Talonflame, if we go like full speed Jolly, which I still think you need to be Jolly, you already outspeed by a little bit. You know, you can cut that down to right here and go 236 and then cut up that extra little bit into defense and HP if you feel like, but there's technically nothing wrong with a Talonflame that's built like this. I think that's absolutely fine. And you know that you're going to be at the very worst speed tying other Talonflames. So that's okay. And I would still keep this upper hand, but if you're finding problems, you might want to cut this for Feint like you were talking about, or Will-O-Wisp, but I would go with this set. Hisui and Arcanine's a little bit different. I like the Ghost Terra, because like I would fake out a Hisui Arcanine because I would expect it to be banded or vested. How does submitting work? Just wondering. Yeah, so basically, if you type submit here on Twitch, it will take you to the, if I can type it, it'll take you to the Patreon. This is all set up through my Patreon. Even the lowest tier gets access to this team submission post, as well as all my rentals. We're hosting a tournament. We have a bunch of Patreon exclusive teams and videos and stuff like that. So you just post your team here, and I will get to it when I can. If you have any questions, let me know. I do like this Ghost Terra. I like the Flare Blitz, Rocksteady Speed. I think it's actually really what you want. I would put one more point of speed into this. What I would do here is Arcanine has a high base HP, so I would go like this. Probably something, let's see. You also don't need as much attack as you had on your Arcanine. I don't think it needs to be full, so I would probably just find the bump on the Arcanine. That's just my opinion, right there. And then I would see, where's my phone? You can find a point where like Arcanine restores a certain amount with like leftovers and stuff like that. You could do that. Didn't know Talonflame gets upper hand. It's one of my favorite sets. I've used it in a lot of stuff like that. There's nothing really wrong with something like this, I don't think. This still lets you hit basically as hard, but you're 1 point faster, which is going to actually make more sense because you're outspeeding the things that outspeed the things that outspeed the things from before. So you're actually getting a stage up on your on your speed tiers, because you're outspeeding things that are also at just 121. And this is just a solid EV spread. I think it's good. And I would actually keep the Ghost. I think it's good. Arcanine, I'm sure you noticed, I was playing in the team a lot. It's more of like a filler. Like you come in if you're really ahead. But like, honestly, when I see a competitive such Defiant Mon, I just don't bring it. You know, it's not worth the risk. So like you kind of just make sure that it can scare off their Insins, maybe scare off their Rillas, but like you're going to have enough damage to still KO everything if you need to KO stuff. As for Basculegion, I would highly recommend a Bandit set here. And the way I would play that is like you get the Talonflame, you get the Speed Control, then you have Froslass as the teammate to apply more Icy Wind, and then you just one-shot everything with Basculegion. But since I think that Scarf fits more of your playstyle, I would change this to Flip Turn, right? You gotta have that Flip Turn. And then I would change these EVs to best reflect what that is. You don't really need to be right here. So what I would go is up to 115, just a little bit faster, so it's still outspeeding things like Garchomp at +1. And then I would throw a bunch of my points in bulk. I think I would put a lot more of my points in defense, because like think about what's checking you, things like Sucker Punches, Brave Birds, Grassy Glide, stuff like that. And then I would just do this. Yeah, Flip Turn over Aqua Jet. I don't think you need the Aqua Jet on this team, so this is what I would do, and this is going to give you a lot more value. That's just how I would play this guy if I were to play, but I would still use a Bandit set. And the Bandit set can be heavy speed. There's nothing wrong with a full speed set band, so I think that's solid. Froslass, I think you did a lot of things right. There's two things that I would recommend here. No, I don't think Glimmora needs grass over ground. Like, I do not think that you do. The whole point of this is to double dip your ground terror to make sure you can KO the Incin, KO the Archaludon, KO the King Gambit. Without Earth Power and the ground terror double dip, you do not check those Mons, and you're actually walled by them pretty hard. So this is what actually makes Glimmora a threat, is this ground terror. Grass terror is not doing anything for you. If we double dip an energy ball, I would understand, but we don't need double dip energy ball. We want to double dip the ground. Grass is not doing anything for Glimmora. Glimmora actually would like to get KO'd, so then you can bring out something like this, right? It's not, we don't need a defensive Terra. We have like a slightly defensive Terra that's more of an offensive Terra that works perfectly and facilitates trades with the Glimmora. That's what I really like about it. Because when Glimmora dies, it's also getting a better trade for everything, since you're usually getting a toxic debris proc. So yeah, I don't think you need Grass Terror on it. The Froslass though, there's two things you can do with this Froslass. I think you can go for a double dip Ice Terra. You know, we saw a couple situations where if we double dipped our Ice Terra, we would have been able to KO things with Blizzard. It's not that you have to prefer defensive Terras to offensive Terras also as well. It's more so use the right Terra for the situation. Like, don't go on autopilot, right? Don't just deviate to using something you're comfortable with if it's not right for the situation. I think most Glims, I would say, yes, they can go Grass Terra, but that just doesn't fit what this team's trying to do. I think Ice Terra Double Dip is good here, but there's another option that I really like, and I will let you know right now, this is putting a lot of your Dozo matchup into the garbage. Like, the way that we would have to beat Dozo if we change this, because, like, Haze is for Dozo. So if you don't mind losing him to Dozo, because, like, who's really using Dozo right now, you can really increase your matchup against a lot of other weird stuff. I'd make this Terra Blast. Right? I really like Terra Blast here, and I would change the Terra Blast to Ground. Remember, that's also going to help us cover up with that Rocks weakness that we have here before. But now we have options to hit Incin and Gambit. And also, the Ground Terra is really, really good here, because what would an Archaludon be doing to a Froslass? We already talked about earlier how Archaludon doesn't really have Flash Cannon anymore. So they could Dragon Pulse you, but like they're not going to be throwing out a Dragon Pulse if Ninetales isn't on the board, because you could pivot in. And they're not going to Body Press you because, you know, you're a ghost. And Snarl doesn't KO, doesn't do enough damage. So they're going to Electro Shot you. They're like, it's sashed anyways, I'll just throw my Electro Shot into it to clock sash. And when you Ground Terra, not only do they not do damage, they don't get their special attack boost, and they threaten to take a lot of health back. So I really like the Terra Blast on this guy. I think it's a really, really cool tech. You can totally keep the Haze if you want to check Dozo, but I would go with this Terra Blast because I think it's really smooth, and it helps cover up for that Rocks weakness. Now, fighting isn't what I want here. I want to stop the Electro Shot. I think these Ground Terras are really good at stopping the Electro Shot from, like, carrying. So you can, like, go after like the Pelipper and stuff more, and you actually also now have you don't have to Terra, but you can just break a Pelipper sash with the Terra Blast if you just Terra Blast it, right? And if they go Ghost Terra to block your Terra Blast, well then you Terra and hit him with a ground one, right? So I think it's really good. I think fighting is too deep because we don't need fighting to break King. We can two-shot King Gambit, right? And we can pivot in Talonflame and then upper hand finish it off from there. I don't think you need to OHKO things. I think you need to get them within range for the other teammates. So those are the small changes I would make. I think 252 EV spread is still fun. And I don't think you need Snow Cloak. I think Curse Body is a good ability on this thing, and I would still keep the Destiny Bond. So those are the small changes that I would make. I'm going to go play a couple games with this team and just see, you know, what happens. But yeah, I think fighting is a little bit too deep. I think ground is good. Hydrapple Sunflora. So Sunflora is a little bit weird. Probably gonna be Solar Power. Sunny Day, like it's gonna be Sunny Day Sableye with like maybe like Quash. Trick Room could be on the Sinistcha, so we want to make sure that Sinistcha cannot do its thing. So the way to do that would probably be to go like Talonflame. Talonflame Arc could definitely get me there because we have Ghost Terra here. We could even lead like Froslass Arc, but then we're susceptible to them terastallizing. I will actually try the Froslass Arc. I think that's actually really cool. And then we're gonna bring the Talonflame in case we need a little bit of extra damage. And I think I might still bring Ninetales just because I want to be able to control the weather just a little bit. Scarfate possibly? Oh, most definitely. But that's why we're leading Ghost and Ghost Terra. Hydrapple. Not bad. Cannot drop my stats. So let's see. What are they going to do here? They have Fake Out as an option. I'm just going to Blizzard Pivot in Ninetales. If you want to Fake Out the Ninetales and do something with this, I don't care. If you would like to Quash here, like I have Sash, so like I'm fine. I think we're good. You think the Hydra might have like an AV? Definitely possible. So we forced the Terra there, so when we come in and Rock Slide in just a sec, we're gonna be good to go. Oh, we forgot to make it a... I think the one on the paste was submitted as Snow Cloak, not Snow Warding. Bro, we just double missed the freaking... Oh my gosh, never lucky. Not hitting that guy's really bad. So the one that was submitted on the paste that we had was Snow Cloak. Okay, that's funny. Alright, so we're just gonna Destiny Bond, and I'll Protect here. And then they can like throw an Encore out the next turn, but we should be good to go. Growth. Okay, so this is gonna make us Destiny Bond like go into like next turn. Weird. All right, we can go pop it, but like I don't like that. All right, I'm doing it. They don't have, what is that one move? They don't have Encore. Works for me. So this Ninetales is like hot garbage. It ain't doing anything for me over here. Destiny Bond is disabled. Oof. Growth is not going to do it. Let's see what they're using here. Earth Power, big damage. They can probably just pop shot out this guy. Foul play. Well, that's not it. Awesome. I think we're in a fine spot. We still have Arcanine in the back too. They're pretty weak to Arcanine, I would say. Terra's down. This is probably a Scarf Ape. So we might as well just chuck some damage into it. If they want to go Final Gambit, and that slot would be my guess. And Rock Slide. EP. Oh wow, they're not that set. So they're slower than us here. So they have Rage Fist. So we need to really think about how we bring in this thing. Destiny Bond's almost unlocked. So I can probably just throw a Terra Blast and a Brave Bird in that slot. We'll lose the town. Oh, they've had Encore. They've had Encore this whole freaking time. And they're just now using it. Oh my gosh, never lucky. You get a Curse Body going out here? No. I can't believe we're going to lose this game just because, like, we don't have the right weather. Yes, Froslass is a good mon. We really need to preserve this thing correctly. I think I'm going to bring the Ninetales, which is not optimal. We're just going to go Moonblast into that slot, and we are fat stuck here. I'm going to drop a Protect and then pivot, and we're going to have to ignore this. Yep. Here, went for a double Encore. That's weird. I don't care if you get my Ninetales off the board. I can't stop you, but I can just do this. All right, so we're stuck Encored. Sorry, we're stuck. Yeah, you see how it works. We're just going to go for a Rock Slide. I have to get this Ape off the board. And we're stuck here. Disable. Not today, buddy. Need to KO this Ape. Oh, can we get a flincher, though? Flinch. There it is. There it is. Encore's unlocked. Rillaboom. Nice. This is fine. So I think in this case scenario, we would just go upper hand there and just Flare Blitz here. We were faster last turn, right? Rock Slide. Flinch. Yeah, so we would just Flare Blitz here and just upper hand. Upper hand's so good. We don't even need to bring ink and paper into it. So if our Ninetales had the weather, right, we would have just won. But, so now we got the weather Ninetales. It'll be way easier. I think it was submitted with the wrong ability, but it's okay. All right. So a little bit of ArchRain Ape. Very, very cool to see. I like the Sinistcha Child there. Prim's very standard. Let's think about what we would like to do versus this. I think the Basculegion is great. Basculegion is a good leader. Now we have the flip turn if we need it. Don't want to be bringing Arcanine as a lead to activate the Ape. So I think I got to watch out for that one. I think we can actually just go Glim. I think Basculegion Glim is good into like Ninetales Froslass. I think there are arguments for Talonflame here, but they don't have a ton of priority. Like Fake Out, stuff like that. So we don't really have to worry about all that. This team doesn't have the Basculegion, so we don't really need like Talonflame to check it first. So let's see what they want to get done here. Let's see how this one goes. Think about what they're going to do. I wonder if they weed Mouse Ape into this. I think, like, Pelipper Mouse, Pelipper Ape looks really solid to me for their lead options, but let's see how they want to do it. You can lead Pelipper into us and just pivot out for Arc. Mouse Ape, cool, works for me. All right, let's realistically think about what we're doing here. Okay. Is this for anyone? Sorry, random question for anyone. All right, let's see if I get the KO here. Awesome. All right, you can do whatever you want with this Ape. Bulk up, cool. So you actually do outspeed my Glim, which is really good. I gotta hit this though. I want this speed up already. Nice. That's so important to stick that damage. What was your question? Legendary with a Sandstream Snow Warning would break the game. I don't think it would break the game. I don't think it would break the game. I think it would be really good. I don't think it would break it though. All right, I think the last mon's probably Pelipper. So I'm gonna pivot in here. And I'm gonna get ready to Destiny Bond. If you would like to trickery me, I cannot stop you, good sir. There's the Rage Powder. Awesome. Rage Fist. Oh, yes, we take those all the way to the bank. Cool. And now we can Icy Wind. We can give him a proc here, but this lets us outspeed and potentially threaten this guy. And then they can't pivot anymore when we bring out Ninetales to outvalue the Pelipper, and we should be fine. Like I said, this Ape's going to be This ape's gonna be cooking. Like, we're gonna give him a Defiant proc here as long as we hit our Icy Wind. But, you know, let's see how they want to handle it. Kind of want to double into the ape, but I don't think we need to. Wouldn't be surprised to see Protect Ape either. But let's see. Big damage here. Hopefully we can still KO the Sinish Shot. Don't know if we can. Nice. That's so good. Rage Fist. Can we get a Curse Bot? Can I get a Curse Body? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oof. Yeah. Pelipper's gonna have to hit here because they can't hit the Froslass with anything else. Oh, Drain Punch, that's fine. I don't care. So Destiny Bond's still active. Let's think about how they want to play this. Tailwind. That's a great Tailwind over there. This is going to make it so like it's still active until the next turn. Think about how we need to do this. It's fine. Weather Ball this slot. Yep, they're going to double into that slot. Gotta stick some fat damage. We're going to freeze, please. Oh, awesome. And Ninetales holds on. Ninetales still chilling out here, huh? Alright, so his Tailwind's almost gone, Zode. Just gonna Blizzard again. You cannot hit this Ninetales. He tried to thaw Wide Guard. Nice. Pelipper down. Disabled, ended. No longer disabled. Weaving that Blizzard. Let's see what they're going to do. They're Drain Punching. I could Encore it and then just Pop Shot him with, like, this thing for, like, 3 turns. That's fine. I'm fine Moonblasting. There's the Fire Terror. There it is. A Basculegion just wins from here. Nice. Cool. Just watching me. How'd it go? It's going great. Yeah. I think it's going fine. Team's working great. We made some good changes here. We should be able to get this one. Team's a lot of fun to use. Team's a lot of fun to use. We take those wins all the way to the bank. Let's go into one more. Yeah, we noticed that the Ninetales, I think you submitted on the paste, had Snow Cloak for the first game. So the first game we had Snow Cloak. It was funny. Oh, only on the paste. Awesome. So this is Hisui Samurott. Can I show the team? Yeah, I'll do it in just a sec. Our team's right here. I want to see what we want to do in this team preview. Goldango can be a little bit problematic. We actually can get away with going Arcanine in this matchup, so I think I might. Being able to intimidate that guy is really good, and then I don't care about your Dragonite. So, like, this is fine. I think these two are a good lead. I want to bring Glimora in the mid game. I'm going to lead Basculegion Arc so we can flip turn out into the Glim. Don't think we need Froslass here. I'm going to bring the Ninetales. Cool. Hisui Samurott. And big value here for us. Really, really like this. Cool. Let's see how they want to handle this. Hisui Samurott's problematic, but if we can get the Incin off the board, we're going to be in a really good spot. Ghost Terra, nice. I love that Ghost Terra from you. We both did the same play, but I think it's a good one. I'm going to try and get some hazards going. You can still bring in a Moongus and like check us, but I think we're good. Yeah. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Big damage. Okay. Knock off. Oh, double! Alright, so they can still have a Moongus, right? I don't think that's too problematic. Alright. There's the Moongus to get rid of those hazards, which is completely fine. Cecil Sedge is Blockaroony Doonied. And the Amoonguss is, it's a problem, right? But, like, we can just Void Blitz it, right? So, like, we're fine. But you can bring in Sin, like, there has to be P2. So the right play, it's really hard to say what it is. I am going to double into Porygon 2, which I think looks really weird on paper. I think they're going to protect Amoonguss into Trick Room. I think if they're not protecting Amoonguss, they're fools. And then from there, I want to get good damage on the Porygon 2, so Ashley has to spend its time recovering. There's the Protect, so we did the right play. Nice. If I can stick a poison here, I would take those all the way to the bank. Yes! Look at that outplay! And now, hopefully, that KOs. And we can get away with some value here. Oh, never lucky, bro. Never lucky. Oh, I'm so unlucky. Big sad. Yeah, okay. It's alright. So that board still doesn't really threaten us, though, because they already used their Terra, so this Porygon shouldn't really be able to hit us that hard, but it sucks we blew some sleep turns there. Pokemon is Flygon. Flygon's hard to use. Okay, let me think about this. So they Spore the Glim. Yep, have to soak this. It's okay. Trying to wait out these Trick Room turns. We live just barely. Oof. They're going to recover this turn. Oh, we do get it. Nice, 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 nice. You can definitely recover here, which is a good play. Yep, but now I have another turn to just do what I want here, and that's a scoop from them. That's it. We got to wake up. And that's it, boys. We take those wins. Nice. So we played that one really well. Good stuff. That was great. Decently rated player, so good stuff. I like this a lot. So yeah, that is kind of how this team goes. I think it's doing like a lot of things right. We didn't change that much, but we give ourselves a better understanding of how the team works. What we're going to do now is go down and talk about like our lead options and just talk about a little bit about what our S tier weeds are, what our A tier weeds are, B tier weeds are, and the situations in which we want to be using them. So this is what, there's some people that really, really like this portion, and there's some people that think this portion's boring, but I think this is a pretty good technique for becoming a better team builder, because what you're trying to do is bait your opponent into over-respecting these obvious S-tier weeds. You know, like a Froslass Ninetales, it's a pretty common lead. Like, you want them to over-respect that and check it. And if you know what they have that puts pressure on that lead, well, you can go down into your A-tier weeds, your B-tier weeds, your C-tier weeds, and then check those things that check our best weeds. So what you're doing is understanding what your win conditions are, so you can win with them whatever you feel like, but then really understanding the matchup-specific victories you can take by dipping down into these other ones. I learn something new every time you do this part of the team fixing. This is the most important part, in my opinion. So let's go into this. So in S-tier weed, what we're going to do is we are going to start and go like Froslass Basculegion. Where does that go? Then Froslass Arcanine, then Froslass Ninetales, then Froslass Talonflame, Froslass Gamora. Once we get all the Froslass leads out of the way, we'll go to Basculegion. Then go to Basculegion Arcanine, Basculegion Ninetales. There's like 14 or 15 different lead combinations, and we're going to find out where all of them go. Yeah, let's just get into it. So Froslass Basculegion. Froslass Basculegion, we want to talk about the positives and negatives. The good things about that lead is we can actually flip turn with the Basculegion and bring in the Ninetales to enable our Froslass to go for Blizzard. I think that's actually really, really good. So it lets us get in our weather, it lets us threaten big damage with Basculegion, and I do like it. Yeah, we talked about putting flip turn on the Basculegion. I think it's very important. We won the last game because of it. I would put it right here. So Froslass Bascu. Very solid lead. Flip turn into weather / intimidate / glim. This is a very, very good lead, because if you flip turn out, you can Icy Wind, come with the Glim, get the Toxic going, and then you've already stuck that Icy Wind. And so this is really good against like dynamic speed control, because you're not dying. You're soaking some damage on those. You got a Sash on one. You got the Glim's really, really good defensive typing for the most part on the other. You can threaten a lot of stuff. They can't attack with both their setting dynamic speed control, so you're getting a little bit of Icy Wind up against them, and then you're threatening a second Icy Wind with even more damage on the Glim. You can then weave in a bunch of other stuff. Like, I think it's a very, very solid lead. You can threaten him with Intimidates, Glim, Weather, solid stuff. I like this lead a lot, and I would highly recommend you actually use this quite frequently. Froslass Arcanine. Froslass Arcanine is like really, really good, but it's susceptible to like dynamic speed control and like Goldango. That's my opinion. So, but it is really, really good into Fake Out. So it's another A tier lead. So it's Froslass, and I think I have gone this really recently as well. Froslass, and this is great into Fake Out. Good thing about this lead is you can have two ghosts. You have the Ghost Terror and the Arcanine. You also have the ability to go Icy Wind into enabling things to be with an Arcanine speed tier, so you can just go for a one-shot with Flare Blitz, or you can just go for a flinch with Rock Slide. So it's a little bit of like, I would go, this might be like a game 3 lead as like a mix-up. If you're like, the only option I have here is to go for like a flinch, and you don't want to go Talonflame because you need to save your speed control, or like maybe it's against like a Psyseeds team, like a Sneasler type team, where they get like dynamic speed control right off the bat and they have the terrain. This might be a really good lead into like Sneasler stuff like that, because you can go Terra with your Arcanine and not get KO'd by things like Dire Claw and Close Combat. And then the Froslass outspeeds the Entity, so you can stick that Icy Wind to break the Sash, KO the Entity, soak the damage from the Sneasler, and then next turn protect Arcanine, Icy Wind again, and then Arcanine can then check the Sneasler after the third Icy Wind. So stuff like that could be really, really good. Hopefully that helps. So we're going to check about Froslass Ninetales. It's the S tier lead. It says Weather plus AoE plus speed control. Very good. You have all the options here. You have weather, speed control, you have multiple protects. It's not too weak against other things. We actually changed your Froslass, like, I don't know if you've seen that, to have like ground Terra Blast, so it's good into Incin, it's good against Gambit, it's good against Archaludon. It's a solid lead. Not that you should be using it all that often. I think there are much better leads, but your opponent has to respect them, right? So it's really, really solid. Not that I would go it all that often, but you can go with it. It's definitely viable. I would go with it if they don't have anti-weather tech. Like if they don't have a Pelipper, just go with it. Just open up with that weather and start popping things off. Lose one of your mons, come in with Arcanine or Basculegion and clean up. Good lead. So we got Arcanine, so we have Froslass, Talonflame. Froslass Talonflame, that is usable. I'm trying to think of exactly where that would go. I'm gonna put that in the B tier. What I would do with this lead is I would use this as like bait. So I would say this is good into Intimidate. Because what you're going to be doing is you're threatening speed control with Talonflame. So you can go for like protect Talonflame, stick some damage. You can even Terra if you want with the Froslass, or you can just do what you want with the Froslass, that's fine. But then next turn you're going to pivot out your Talonflame for either your Intimidate or your Glim and get that speed control going. And so you actually have double speed control. So you also have double speed control. I don't think it's good enough to be A because there are a lot of holes in it. It's susceptible to getting Fake Out on the Talonflame, which means you'd have to use Upper Hand, which means you take Life Orb Chip, which means you lose your Gale Wings and you can't Tailwind the next turn. So it's not optimal, but it's definitely matchup specific. If they actually have like a little bit of a passive play, you can wrap them around your finger, having them over-respect your Talonflame, and then have Froslass just deal a good amount of damage. Sorry, let me read this. Alolan Persian's good. Oh, you say OG Persian. Someone was talking about OG Persian. That's nuts. So let's see. What is the next one? Froslass Glim. I would put this in the B tier as well. I think Froslass Glim is good. It's just that there are things like dynamic speed control that threaten it. AoE from like Goldango really gives it a lot of problems. It's not that it's bad. It's just weak to AoE. You're gonna have to protect and somehow get in a Talonflame to then regain speed control, and if they just trade speed control with you, you're really like not great. I think that the best thing that you can do with that lead is make them over-respect Spiky Shield. Right? I think if you make them over-respect Spiky Shield, you can like weave in Ninetales. I can't type it all. Enable Blizzard. It's probably the best thing that you can do. People aren't going to be throwing fire attacks into a Glamora slot, so Ninetales is probably a pretty free pivot there. People aren't going to be throwing poison attacks into a Glamora slot. They might throw steel attacks, which means Ninetales is, but you know, you might be able to get away with like weaving your Ninetales there. So those are all the Froslass leads. Overall, Froslass is one of our better mons, and we do aggressively with it in a lot of situations. Basculegion Arcanine. I really like this lead. Put in the S. It's really matchup specific, but it has Intimidate / Flip Turn potential. I can type. Intimidate, Flip Turn, really, really good. You're able to then go into Talonflame, and like also so you're immune to Fake Out as well. I think it's really good because you can just trash dodge your Arcanine. So Fake Out, you're good into Fake Out, you're good into dynamic speed control, you compact with an Intimidate. It's good, it's just very matchup specific. They should be respecting it a lot. and you're able to correctly weave in with the rest of your teammates. And they shouldn't be able to OHKO your Basculegion with a physical attack if you have the Intimidate on top of it. The only issue here, I generally would just not lead Arcanine Basculegion if your opponent has something like a Gambit. I wouldn't do it. Because if you give the Gambit a proc, he's gonna like, if he goes Black Glasses, like Dark Terra, he's still gonna OHKO your Basculegion, even if you Terra. And then, like, it doesn't matter what you did because you gave him all the boosts. So, like, I just wouldn't use this if they have a Defiant / competitive mon, especially if that mon is Gambit. Just my 2 cents here. And then we have Basculegion Ninetales. It's an A tier lead. And it just goes flip turn, weather. So you can just go into Arcanine, Talonflame, or Glim. I think it's fine. The issue with this one is it is a little bit susceptible to dynamic speed control AoE. You only have 1 protect. Good news is it's not weak to Fake Out. So it's immune to Fake Out. Again, solid. I think you can go with it sometimes. I would go this if they don't have a weather check. You want to get that active weather early so you can go like Basculegion Ninetales into like Froslass Glim or Froslass Talonflame or Froslass Arcanine to close. But you're able to get that Froslass in relatively for free with your weather and not have to worry about pivoting. But again, it only works when they don't have like weather options, and every good team is going to have like either a Pelipper or like a Torkoal or like a Sunny Day user at some point. So just be on the lookout. But it is a definitely viable option. Basculegion Talonflame. I like this one a lot. I put it in A though, because it is weak to some things. You may think this is really good. This is really susceptible to Intimidate. Not only are we really weak to Intimidate, but like let's think of the popular Intimidators like in Sin. They lead in Sin, you know, it's like, like both my mons are intimidated. So in Sin, it's not that it has Fake Out pressure. It does have Fake Out pressure in Talonflame, but like you can just, we're actually like in a pattern to get Intimidate cycled, because what they're going to do is they're going to double Intimidate, they're going to protect with their teammate, they're going to Terastallize the Incin so they don't lose it, and then they're going to Intimidate cycle, and then they're going to repin on you with their Rillaboom. And now you're threatened again by the Fake Out on your Talonflame, and they low-key threaten your Basculegion with a Aggressive Glide. And their teammate, then that turn, because they have that free turn, they can set up with their teammate. They can go for a Swords Dance with their Gambit, they can do other stuff like that, and the game's just getting away from you right there. So you're under pressure of getting Fake Out cycled. And Intimidate cycle, because they can also just pivot out that teammate for Insane, get a second Intimidate, like Woodhammer / like U-turn to even go into a third thing, and it's just the game. That's how the game gets out of control. And it's because we don't have the option to like protect and other stuff like that with this lead. It can be really good in some matchups where they don't have those options, and that's why you need to know. That's why we make this little exercises, so you know when you don't see those Intimidate cyclers, you're like, oh man, I can just do this, and it's good. Like imagine if they have like Goldango Murkrow, you trade Tailwinds, you just go Water Terror, you just one-shot their Dango. So it's good into AoE, it's good into dynamic speed control. It can even be usable into redirection, because you go Tailwind, hit their Mon, and then like now Talonflame, like if they set up like Talonflame still has its Gale Wings, you still have the upper hand to be able to upper hand like a Sucker Punch from Gambit or something, and you can still threaten their Mon. Like I still think it's really good into those matchups, but it's weak into Intimidate cycling, which is such a small mechanic. It doesn't really take that much team investment to have an Intimidate cycler like an Insane on your team, so you just got to be really wary of it. We're looking at Basculegion Glimmora. Basculegion Glimmora. What does this do that I like and don't like? We've done Basculegion Glimmora like 3 times. I would put it in the B tier, and that doesn't mean that it's bad. B does not stand for bad. But there is something, if you go back and watch all the games we played today, I did this like 3 times. This is what I use. Good into Mouse Ape. It's really good into Mouse Ape. Right? You can go Water Terra and OHKO the mouse, and you can stick damage into the ape, and then from there, no matter what ape does, Basculegion's still, he's just rolling down home into the ape, and if they KO the Basculegion with like their teammate, Glim can just drop a Spiky Shield, you bring out like Talonflame, Talonflame still just repins, checks the ape. So like when they go Mouse Ape, they're all in, right? This says like you don't lose to the Mouse Ape part of that core, and if you have the right mons in the back like the Ninetales, you can still check things like their Pelipper / their Arcaludon in the back. So I think it's good to Mouse Ape. I've won like 3 games today against Mouse Ape with this. You also have the option to like flip turn, Spiky Shield, bring out a couple other things. You know, I think it gives you a lot of options. But what is this really weak against? Dynamic Speed Control AoE. It's really weak into like Intimidate cycling. You don't want to lead the Basculegion that often. It can be usable, but I would not lead it that often because it really locks you into one very specific style of play, and it could lose to redirection if they have the right teammate. Like, for example, like if they wanted to go like Electabuzz Gambit and just go like follow me Swords Dance into like a little bit of speed control and just go pop, 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 you lose, right? So it's like, don't want to deal with that. Like, this also hard loses to like a Gastrodon. So that's why it's so low. But if they don't have those defensive options, like I just said, go nuts, pop it off. If they have me see that mouse ape, just dunzo them. Let's talk about Arcanine Ninetales. I think that's a B tier lead as well. I'm not valuing that very high, and we'll talk about why. Super weak to Gambit, in my opinion. King Gambit. I think it's really weak to King Gambit. Ninetales does not do a good job in a Gambit. You don't want to Moonblast it and give it stats either. That's really bad. Arcanine gives the Gambit the boost, and then from there they just roll down your Arcanine and you lose the game. Yes, you can like E-Speed and Weave and Protects, but you don't want to just start the game off by giving them that boost because you're also not respecting what their teammate is. Like, again, we talked about this. What if they go like Electabuzz Gambit, which is one of like the best moves in the best leads in the game right now? Very, very passive. You can't Flare Blitz the Gambit. When you get your Rock Slide in the Gambit, like, no, that ain't it. Like, it's a slow loss from there. This also is very weak to Dynamic Speed Control AoE from like Make It Rains on Goldango. You don't have the defensive Terras to not like just lose the game from that. They will OHKO your Arcanine if they have that Steel Terra. This is also like low-key weak against like Pult leads. Sneasler leads are going to give this a hard time even though you get that Intimidate stick. So I think it's usable, right? And I would say it's more usable against like Trick Room leads. That way you can go for that Rock Slide, try and get those flinches, stick some good damage into your opponent. If you get that flinch, you might be able to KO your opponent's teammate before they get the Trick Room. And if they have to start their Trick Room with only 3 Mons and you have 4, you can then weave in those Protects and pivot correctly and wait it out. We actually did that in one of the test games today, so it was definitely viable. But it's not great in the most common things. We're looking at Arcanine Talonflame. I like Arcanine Talonflame. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Yeah, this team has a lot of good leads. The good thing about this lead is fast Rock Slide. Sometimes that's all you need. Tailwind, Rock Slide into Brave Bird, Rock Slide again. Like, aha! This team doesn't have as many weaknesses, or that lead doesn't have as many weaknesses to Intimidate either because you have the Arcanine with the Clear Amulet. So, go nuts. You have the option to also go for E-Speed plus Brave Bird into Sash Whims. So you can cheese dynamic Tailwind setters, right? So you can cheese that Sash Merc, or you can cheese that Sash Whims, just go right on the turn 1. And then like what you do is if you take them out and you don't lose your Talonflame, they didn't get Tailwind up, and you're probably going to outspeed them with Talonflame still since you're using a heavy speed Talonflame, and then you just protect Arcanine Tailwind yourself, Talonflame goes down, and now you have a Tailwind, they don't have a Tailwind, they have 3 Mons, you have 3 Mons, and you bring out the Basculegion, you win the game. So it's a good lead. What is this lead weak against? Redirection, and the fact that like you have to overcommit with that Rock Slide in a lot of situations. And it's really weak against like Redirection TR. It's really weak against like Farigiraf, Indeedee, things like that. Sneasler would give it a lot of problems, I think. It'd force your Terra early and your Talonflame's not really making anything work. Because if you Tailwind with the Talonflame Arcanine into like Indeedee Sneasler, they're just going to Trick Room you and you lose. So be wary. It's an A tier lead. You want to go into this one often, but you just got to make sure that you're not fighting against some of that bad stuff. And we are at Arcanine Glim. I don't like that one very much. That's a B tier lead for sure. So Arcanine Glim, weak to AoE. Positives. Big damage, right? That's all they really have. Like, you can go for like a big Flare Blitz and like a Meteor Beam. It's good into things like Sin. You can check things like Gambit like this. You can maybe lull them into a false insecurity if they don't bring their redirection, right? Because you can stick a Flare Blitz into it and the Ground Terra, Terra Blast. I think that's definitely our Earth Power into that slot and pick up the KO. That'd be very viable. But I wouldn't go this that often. It's weak to Dynamic Speed Control. It can lose to Redirection. It can lose to like big AoE moves. Primarina, like it's really weak to water in general. So I would just watch out for that. Pelipper can give that lead a really hard time because like Arcanine's going to have to overcommit. You're going to have to Weave and Protects, call Terras from them. And I wouldn't go with this one that often. I think there are better leads. I think Arcanine Basculegion, Arcanine Ninetales are probably better than Arcanine Glimora. So let's talk about Ninetales Talonflame. That's a B tier lead too, and it's not B tier because it's bad, it's B tier because it's specific. So we got Ninetales, Talonflame. What I like about this lead is going to sound so weird. It's fast Encore. So you can go like Tailwind and hit something, or force a protect, or force a pivot, right? And then you have a fast Encore after, which is pretty nice. So like what I would do with this team is if you go Tailwind damage, they're not going to OHKO both your mons if they're trading Tailwinds with you. And then what you actually do is the Ninetales can then like re-Encore their other Tailwind setter back into Tailwind. So you can ignore their Tailwind setter and then Encore their Tailwind setter. Another thing you can also do is like protect your Talonflame and protect your Ninetales and let them go for like their Tailwind big play, and then just trade Tailwinds and just, you know, hit things correctly with your Ninetales, or Encore them into Tailwind from there, and they don't get any KOs if they don't have the right teammates. So it's more of like an Encore-esque play, but I think that's probably the best that you can get out of it. It does have damage, it does set your weather, but I think that like it's one of those situations where you'd have to already have a really good matchup in your opponent to really go like this, because it is a little bit weak to a lot of AoE. It is susceptible to terrain control, redirection. I would say this would have a hard time beating like Entity Sneasler. Just be wary of that. But you can definitely Encore things. You can also go for like a double protect into like Encoring a Fake Out and just nuking something. But yeah, it's definitely still a usable lead. Ninetales Glimora. Ninetales Glimora I really like a lot actually. But I'm still gonna put it in the B tier because it's weak to speed control, it's weak to AoE, it's weak to all those things. Ninetales Glim. What I like about Ninetales Glim though is that Ninetales checks, you know, dragons and other like big it checks the Dragonites, it checks like the Garchomps, you know, the ground types that would threaten the Glim. So they have to protect Pivot or Terra, right? And Glim checks all the things that would check the Ninetales. Glim checks the Incint, Glim checks the Hisui Arcanine, Glim checks things like that. So they cover for each other offensively very well. So good offensive coverage. Always want to look for the positives before you look for the negatives. This lead has good offensive coverage. Lacks speed control. That's basically it. Solid lead, but it's hard. So you want to go with one of these guys in a match where they don't have a weather setter, because you can choose never be leading with your weather setter if you have the faster weather setter, in my opinion, because they can always just lead with theirs and then you start the game off negative. You want to wait to pin them after they've already revealed their weather setter. So wait for them to bring out their Torkoal, wait for them to bring out their Pelipper, T-Tar, stuff like that. Then bring out your Ninetales. But if they don't have one of those, you can lead this lead and you can just have good offensive coverage if they have a teammate that's a support mon. So I think it's very solid. You also have Encore threats, like you have Protects. I think it's solid. Let's see. We are looking at Talonflame Glim. That's still a B tier lead. And all this is a fast Meteor Beam. Solid, fast coverage. So I think it's a solid lead. But again, Glim isn't that fast. Glim is only like 113 right here, so it's not that fast. So if you're trading Tailwinds, you're not going to keep up. So this is good into teams that don't have dynamic speed control. So like we've seen a lot of teams that are like that, you know, King Gambit or Electabuzz with like the Dragapult and stuff like that. This is going to let you outspeed those things and then trade 1-for-1 really well. This is very good lead at trading. So great for trading. So the way this works is if they would like to KO the Talonflame after you get the Tailwind up, you bring up Basculegion or Arcanine and you're good to go. If they KO the Glim, well, Glim doesn't really die to like special attacks, and if they hit us with a physical attack and they trade with us, like let's say we killed our teammate and they kill our Glim, but we probably got up Toxic Spikes. So we traded a 1-for-1 and we get up Toxic Spikes and the Basculegion still comes out. Now, why isn't this lead broken busted? This lead just loses dynamic speed control. Like if they have like Whims enabling like anything that's faster than Glim, we just lose. Like if they lead Murkrow Dango and we lead Glim Talonflame, we're probably gonna lose. just because we have to blow terrors early defensively, you'd have to go for protects, we're going to lose them on, and we're already starting the game like a turn behind. So it's still in the B tier, it's still weak to a lot of that sort of stuff, but if they don't have those dynamic speed control setters, know that you can bully them with Glim Talonflame. And so those are all of the lead options, optimizations, things like that for this team. I think it's a very good team. You know, you want to make them over-respect these leads up here. You only need 2 or 3 to actually be good. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. And then from there, you want to go into these matchup-specific options to be able to punish the things that people are bringing to over-respect you from doing this. People think that you're doing this. Whenever you go into the team preview, you want people to think that you're doing this. They're going to be bringing the things that counter these. So these specific things and counters can counter the things that counter you up here. So hopefully you like this one. This was a very fun team to use. Thank you so much for submitting it. And if anyone else wants to submit their teams on Patreon, it's the start of a brand new month. Even the lowest tier gets access to this post. We have Patreon exclusive teams, Patreon exclusive rentals. We're going to be hosting a tournament this month where, like I said, we're doing the team fix and we're doing a lot of stuff on Patreon this month. Think about checking it out. And like I said, even the lowest tier gets access to all this help. I'm going to be doing my very best to try this month and make the Patreon a resource you would be foolish not to use for the $2 price tag that it comes with. Think about checking it out if you want some help with me fixing your team. And yeah, that's pretty much it.